Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with I Trek. Big shout out to everybody tapping in on this beautiful Sunday, man. Hey, major shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I appreciate you guys. If this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos, man, all across TikTok and all across the internet, as a matter of fact. Make sure to smash that like button for me and that subscribe button. Join the iTrack fam, man. It gets real interesting over here. So let's just jump right into it.
AI is the biggest technical thing ever in my lifetime. I mean, it is so profound, and therefore its influence is hard to overstate. And the economic value, this is basically intelligence. So the value is extremely high. Just like creating the internet ended up being, in net, very, very valuable.
Now, Bill Gates definitely might be looked at as a supervillain, but when he speaks about technology, you definitely got to listen up because he knows a little something about a little something.
Ana's Ibo Noah went from telling everyone that the world was going to end on Christmas Day to driving a Mercedes and performing at concerts. Bro, it's not even New Year's yet. It's a pretty massive update. The day before the world was supposed to end, he posted a video on his TikTok announcing that God had given him another vision. Vision 2.0, if you will. And God apparently said to him that the 10 arcs that he had already built were not big enough for the amount of people flooding, coming all from all over the country to save themselves. And so because of that, Ibo Noah is saying that God is giving him more time to build more arcs to save more people for when the flood actually comes. Problem is though, there are some reports of people still turning up on that day, even from other countries, only for nothing to happen. Then, just a day later, he was seen in his rags getting out of a Mercedes and even performing at concerts. Bro had the freaking flood animations behind him. And guys, the crowd absolutely loved him. Bro is becoming as famous as the OG Noah.
There's a few things I really dislike about that whole situation, but the main thing is there are some people giving the last of their last to this guy, and I'm sure he wasn't pulling up in no bins before that. I'm pretty sure of it.
One of the original Christmas trees was the Leyland cypress tree. And the Leyland cypress tree was known to attract demons. And St. Nicholas, he was apparently an exorcist. And so they would call St. Nicholas over and he would chop down Leyland trees and he would burn them. And that's how you got rid of the demons. And it's crazy that we're bringing these trees or symbols of these trees into our homes for Christmas. You know what I mean?
I'm going to have to go ahead and call cap on that because on Christmas Day, it definitely didn't feel like there were demons roaming around that Christmas tree the night before, the day before, or after. But if you know something I don't, definitely drop it in the comments.
I just learned that the Sahara Desert fertilizes the Amazon rainforest. These satellite images show dust getting picked up off the Sahara, carried across the Atlantic, and then arriving here at the Amazon rainforest. And those dust particles do help to form clouds that form rain. But too much heavy rain washes away really important nutrients from the soil, particularly this one, phosphorus, which plants need to grow. So the Amazon rainforest is kind of weird. It's losing a lot of nutrients because of that rain, but it's staying super lush because this dust coming from the Sahara replenishes that phosphorus. It's full of it. These winds are bringing 27 million tons or 100,000 semi-trucks of dust full of phosphorus to the Amazon every single year. So if you want more optimistic science and tech stories, follow along.
Gen Z is damn near taking over Mexico with these protests. Let me explain exactly what's going on in Mexico right now. So on November 1st, literally during the Day of the Dead celebration, Carlos Manzo, the mayor of Uruapan, had his life taken in front of everyone. And for a lot of young people in Mexico, that was it. That was the moment that people said that we cannot keep living like this. Because look, crime in Mexico has been out of control for years. Cartels run entire regions. Politicians make promises, but nothing ever changes. People don't even expect justice anymore. They just try to survive around the chaos. So Gen Z does what Gen Z does best. They went online. They started a movement called Generación Z Mexico, basically saying if the adults aren't going to do anything, then we will. They used anime symbols, One Piece pirate flags, TikTok edits, memes, and yet behind all that, they were talking about real issues: security, corruption, impunity. Then November 15th happened. Thousands, and I mean thousands of people filled up Mexico City, estimated around 17,000 just in the capital, and protests spread everywhere. Jalisco, Puebla, Monterrey. It felt like the whole country walked out of their house all at the same time. But the second they hit Zócalo, the town square and Mexico's political heart, everything went sideways. Police rolled in, barricades went up, riot shields, tear gas, you name it. More than 100 police officers were injured. Around 20 protesters and dozens of people were arrested. It looked like a scene straight out of a movie. And it wasn't just Gen Z. A ton of older people joined in as well. People in their 30s, 40s, 60s. Because the frustration isn't generational, it's national. But of course, the drama didn't stop there. The government started saying this was all orchestrated by opposing parties. Some reporters say bots boosted the movement. Others pointed out that some of the organizers weren't even Gen Z. They were older political actors hiding behind the youth's branding. So suddenly everyone was asking, is this even a real movement? Or is someone trying to manipulate the chaos? Yeah, I don't know who's saying that because this looks like a movement to me. Because honestly, even if someone tried to take advantage of this, the anger behind this is real, because you can't fake the feeling of living in fear. And now it looks like they took over the National Palace of Guadalajara. Mexico's had enough, yo. And from the looks of it, Mexico's government might actually fall. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, hey, from all the reports that's been coming out of Mexico, it seems like they were overdue. And that also lets you know anywhere around the world where the mass of people have been fed up with what's going on in the government, you can expect that, definitely.
You know that Elvis Presley and Pat Boone sold more Tutti Frutti than I did, and I wrote it and sung it.
Did that bother you?
No, it didn't. It made me feel good. They opened the door that was locked and I couldn't get in. And I took the Beatles and Mick Jagger with me. Mick Jagger was living on a truck. I had Jimi Hendrix playing guitar for me. I had Billy Preston on the organ, James Brown, and Joe Tex was my vocalist. I had all of them. That's the reason I'm the king. All of them came from me.
I'm just letting you guys know that all of the psychics that we have met with and that we're obsessed with are all full of shit. They all collectively, maybe 4 of them, have told me I was going to pass the bar. So they're all full pathological liars. Don't believe anything they say.
See, when I see something like that, it just kind of gives off, lack of self-confidence. Because if you were studying and doing what you need to do, you would need to go see any psychic. And that pretty much applies to any area of your life that you feel like you need to go see a psychic for. Like, you know what you're dealing with. You know what I mean? In every area, you know your odds. You can kind of sum all that up yourself. Going to a psychic for things that you kind of already know yourself is kind of crazy to me.
No psychic ever predicts the future. There are an infinite number of probable reality futures. A psychic is picking up on the idea of the vibration that is strongest at the moment the prediction is made in the present. A psychic is reading the present more fully, not the future. But if that energy doesn't change, the prediction comes to pass. But often, a prediction will actually add energy in such a way as to render itself obsolete. Because when you hear a prediction that is representative of a reality you don't prefer, then you change the energy and you yourselves render the prediction obsolete. Doesn't mean the prediction was wrong, means you've rendered it obsolete by being made aware of where the energy was at the moment the prediction was made. And if you don't like it, you can change it. That's how to use psychic ability, is expanding your awareness of what's going on more fully here and now so you can really chart the course you really wish to chart.
I was today years old when I realized all the money that my mama was holding for me when I was a child, I never saw again.
Researchers at the Chinese University of Hong Kong have developed a novel magnetic line robot, a soft, shape-shifting material that can be remotely controlled using magnetic fields. Made from a viscoelastic, magnetized slime, the robot can stretch, split, self-heal, squeeze through narrow spaces, and encapsulate objects. Unlike traditional robots, it has no rigid structure or onboard electronics. The technology shows strong potential for minimally invasive medical applications, such as retrieving swallowed objects from the digestive tract, as well as future industrial and soft robotics uses.
Did you know that the cure to the 1918 pandemic, the Spanish flu, actually killed more people than the Spanish flu itself? Doctors were actually giving 20 to 30 aspirin tablets a day to their patients, causing people to die. And now you know.
The hardest sports on your body: 10, golf; 9, cycling; 8, tennis; 7, baseball; 6, basketball; 5, gymnastics; 4, hockey; 3, boxing; 2, football; and number 1 is rugby.
Fun fact of the day. The common but incorrect depiction of Neanderthals as slouching or poor-postured may have originated from the first near-complete Neanderthal skeleton ever found, which had severe osteoarthritis.
Evolution is not science. Watch this.
The people say if you don't believe in evolution, you don't believe in science. Well, that's stupid. Evolution's a religion that's mixed in with science. You know, beer is often sold at football games. Beer has nothing to do with football, and you don't become athletic by association. And evolution has nothing to do with science.
Even in the Bible, when we're talking about aliens, it's even in the Bible. I have children not of this flock. It's in the Bible. That sounds like aliens to me.
The book of Ezekiel, he was the first one to talk about aliens. Yeah, it's in the Bible.
And even the Bible itself, right? King James Version. Like, you got to really look at who wrote it. So King James, him and his clergymen, guess who was in that group? Shakespeare. Okay. Thee, though, thou. If you go to Psalms 46, go 46 words down, it's shake. 46 words up, sphere. He encoded his name in Psalms 46.
Gematria. Gematria is a system of Jewish mysticism that assigns numerical values to letters of the Hebrew alphabet to find hidden meanings in text. Oh, I believe this was in the Da Vinci Code. Each letter corresponds to a number, and the values of letters in a word are added up to get a total, revealing connections between words with the same sum, like Sulam, ladder, and Sinai, suggesting the Torah connects man to heaven. For biblical interpretation, exploring spiritual insights by finding numerical equivalences between words and concepts.
A lot of people talk about gematria, but the majority of people have no clue the origin the word even came from, so it's good to get a breakdown like that.
Peter Thiel. He's doing a 4-day seminar on the Antichrist.
What?
I read this article by Christianity Today about the Acts 17 ministry. I think their intentions are good. They want to reach the tech industry with the gospel. The husband of the founder of Acts 17, he used to work for Peter Thiel at Palantir, and they went over to one tech industry dude's house to do like this house church, and Peter Thiel was there, and Peter Thiel just started talking about the Antichrist and stuff. And apparently all these Silicon Valley tech dudes were just like, we didn't know Peter Thiel was a Christian.
Peter Thiel is a libertarian, and there's a professor that he studied under. A lot of his quotes regarding Christianity are direct quotes from this professor. The professor and him are very, as far as like the Antichrist and stuff like that, there's this tension between the apocalypse coming and the Antichrist is the hero that saves everyone from it. His entire thing is like something's gonna happen that makes you choose one or the other. But he defines himself as far as his own religious views as a heterodoxical Christian. It's the same root as heretic. He doesn't believe you need to evangelize. He's like, my faith is real for me. I don't need to convince you of it. You cannot call yourself a believer. And the last thing that Jesus said after his 3 years of ministry, death and resurrection, he says, go and make disciples of all nations, teaching them to obey the things I've commanded you. You cannot be a follower of that human and say, I don't have to teach you to obey. It's in direct defiance. I think there is a political advantage that he's trying to pull from this. You either believe in the Jesus of the Bible or you don't believe in Jesus.
There's a big difference between having conversations and then being put up as a teacher and learning. The Bible's very clear. People who teach should be very careful.
One of his arguments for like transhumanism, what I believe I got from it was his excuse was that Christians are transhumanism. It's the renewal of the spirit. You become a new person. Your soul is transformed. You're a transhuman.
You're not living. It's Christ that's living through you.
So that's almost like an excuse. And I'm like, this sounds like the Antichrist. That's why he likes talking about it so much, because it's him.
He is alive. 100%. Epstein's death was first reported on 4chan. 38 minutes before any news outlet could break the story of Jeffrey Epstein dying in a prison cell, a poster on 4chan revealed it. Their identity remains unknown to this day, but police suspect it may have been someone at the hospital in New York, where Epstein was taken. Don't ask me how I know, but Epstein died an hour ago from hanging, cardiac arrest. Screenshot this. 50 in the field. PT transported to Lower Manhattan ER and worked for 20 minutes and called hospital administrator, was alerted, preparing statements. Not saying anything after this, please do not try to dox me, but last night after 4:04:15 count, they took him medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one nurse says they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on the weekends unless a judge orders it.
Epstein was in a very tight spot. So how convenient was it that he decided to hang himself in a jail cell where the camera conveniently goes off when it happens? It's just, it doesn't add up. You get what I'm saying? It's like somebody handing you salt and telling you that it's sugar. It's like, come on, man. It's pretty obvious what's going on, even if you want to lie about it.
King is not going to kill all of the eggs. No way. I don't eat any fish. I don't eat sushi. None of it. The squid, shrimp is notorious.
Oh, squid's the bottom feeder.
Yeah, all the bottom feeders are going to have major parasites and parasite eggs.
Plus,
our modern day world, our fish that now is number one is being caught or it's farmed. Imagine now if you're a fish farmer and you're dumping antibiotic food and all of that. So the environment of those fish are horrible, therefore breeding more and more of their imbalance, more of their parasites. So those fish are extremely unhealthy already. On top of it, probably have infinitely more parasites. So now you're consuming that because you love fish and love sushi. The modern world has just pushed you infinitely more towards exposure of said parasite. So again, these categories of like, fish are good. No, they're not.
You can't make a generalization. You can have a fish that was raised in a certain way, like you said, versus like even the best of the best wild caught in Alaska. The difference in that spectrum is massive. You can't even compare the two fish together. How could you say fish are good? This fish is literally rotting corpse poison, and this fish is probably not too far off from it, even though it's coming from our oceans. That's just because of the state of the world.
So they're trying to say, if you season it, if you fry it, deep fry it, that there's still going to be like parasite eggs on there. Something seems off with that. I mean, doesn't everything disintegrate once you deep fry it? If I'm missing something, educate me in the comments, because that don't make any kind of sense.
Gin were created from smokeless fire. It's most likely a type of plasma. Plasma itself is recognized as a completely different state of matter. Plasma comprises a lot of the known universe that we inhabit.
Dude, they just proved that your Wi-Fi does not just give you internet, it can track your body, identify who you are, and follow you through walls. I think the biggest shocker for me today is that this is actually real right now and it's not even a conspiracy. Researchers have now found out that Wi-Fi signals don't just carry internet, they bounce off of your body, and the way that they bounce off of you is unique to every single person. Scientists just use normal Wi-Fi routers like you would find in your house and AI to analyze how people's bodies disturb wireless signals. No phone, no smartwatch, no device at all, literally you just being in a room. They can tell who you are, how you walk, how you move, even your posture. It's like a biometric fingerprint made out of radio waves. They have literally proven that this works through walls. This means that Wi-Fi can track someone in the next room without you ever even seeing that they're there. There are live demos that are out right now where a person walks behind a wall and the system follows them in real time. If that wasn't enough already, this research team showed that Wi-Fi could actually identify people with over 90% accuracy. Another research team proved that it could recognize individuals just by how the way they move through a space, so basically it knowing how you walk. It doesn't matter if you're at your house, a cafe, an office, any Wi-Fi network can become a surveillance system without any cameras, microphones, or any permission. The scariest part about this entire thing is not if it gets used one day, it's realizing that the technology to track people invisibly is already there.
Chip that can produce basically stem cells. You guys check it out.
Only about the size of a cufflink, the device itself is small, but what it could represent is enormous. In this laboratory at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, researchers demonstrate the concept. Simply place this chip on an injured part of the body and apply a small electrical current.
This process only takes less than a second. The chip does not stay with you, and the reprogramming of the cell starts.
That reprogramming turns skin cells into nearly any type of cell doctors might need to treat a patient. A breakthrough technology in regenerative medicine. For example, in a leg that is badly injured and lacks blood flow, doctors simply touch the chip to the leg and reprogram the skin cells to become functioning blood vessels.
In many cases, in 7 days, you start seeing changes, and these changes persists.
Within a week, there are active blood vessels, and by the second week, the leg is saved. In fact, in lab tests, it even worked in the brain, helping mice recover from strokes. In humans, this could allow doctors to grow brain cells on a person's skin under the guidance of their own immune system. They could then harvest those cells and inject them into the brain to treat conditions like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease. And no immune suppression drugs would be necessary, all by using a patient's own cells in a brand new way.
Hey, you know what? That's a complete W for modern science. We're talking about fixing Alzheimer's. We're talking about caring people that might end up having to amputate their leg. Because, if you have a big enough wound on your leg or on your arm, it gets gangrene, they got to chop it off. I like where this is going.
When people do something they don't want to do, like add 3 hours of exercise per day or per week, or when people who are trying to diet and lose weight resist eating something.
Right.
When people do anything that and this is the important part, that they don't want to do, this brain area gets bigger. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is smaller in obese people. It's larger in athletes. In many ways, scientists are starting to think of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex not just as one of the seats of willpower,
Right.
but perhaps actually the seat of the will to live.
There's a new malware that automatically takes pictures of you through your webcam based on the websites you visit. It's called Stellarium, and it's designed for automated blackmail. According to security researchers, the malware monitors your browser. If it detects you're on a certain website that are, let's just say, not something you should be on at work, it triggers your webcam and silently takes your picture. At the same time, it takes a screenshot of exactly what's on your screen. It then sends both images directly to a hacker who has everything they need to try and extort you. This isn't a targeted attack, it's an automated system triggered by the sites you browse. And here's the most disturbing part. The code for this malware is publicly available for free on GitHub, where it's described as being for educational purposes only. This means anyone can download and use it.
Take a look at this image. It looks like one cheese is missing. Now what I'm going to do is rotate the picture around. Now blink. It looks like the whole cheese is missing now. Let me know in the comments if you see that and send this to a friend.
If you're neurodivergent, this means you can hear your ego. And if you can hear your ego, this means you can talk to your ego and it will respond back.
Being a neurologist is like living in a completely different world. I had a patient who every time he smelled a specific fruit, half of his body would stop working. Complex migraine. I had a patient who was doing whippets every day and then his legs stopped working. Subacute combined degeneration. Another one who told me that he just couldn't finish eating his sandwich. Myasthenia gravis.
Think about this, people. Santa Claus is the first intelligent asset you were ever introduced to as a child. Before you understand what the government is, before you know what data collection is, before you know what taxes are, there's already a guy who knows when you're sleeping, knows when you're awake, knows if you've been bad or good, and is keeping a year-long behavioral file on you. Nobody ever really asks, hey, how exactly is he monitoring millions of children simultaneously? We just accept that surveillance is normal as long as it comes with presents. Think about it. Good kids get gifts. Bad kids get coal. That's not magic, that's compliance training. Santa has a global operation, a fleet of airborne vehicles that violate every known aviation law, instant border access, and zero oversight. He enters private homes without permission, bypasses security systems completely, and leaves zero physical evidence behind. That seems like government training to me. You know, eventually someone tells you Santa isn't real and you laugh it off, but by then the lesson is already baked in. You've already learned that being watched is normal, and that good behavior is rewarded by invisible authorities, and that questioning the system ruins the magic for everyone else. Anyways, don't forget to leave those cookies out. You don't want to look suspicious this late in the year.
Hey, you know what? He made a whole lot of sense because of what kind of technology they got going on now. The surveillance that they truly have on you, your cell phone, your laptop, everything's all connected and wired up to catch you doing things that they might not like. And that's what Santa Claus is doing, right? He's taking tabs. You know, you're on a list. You're on the good list or the bad list. That's pretty creepy, that correlation. That's really creepy, actually.
Just because you know more stuff than I do doesn't mean that you're smarter than me because you know more stuff than me. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to know that stuff, I would have already known it.
Worldwide government is way smarter than we give them credit for because they have us believing they don't do nothing. There's no such thing as the government is in bed with the internet. No, the internet is a government installation that they allowed the world to use for free so that they could have the information willingly because you're on it.
I study philosophy and religion, and here are some of the darkest philosophies that I've ever read. Of course, I have to start out with Choran. In his work, you're going to find nihilism and anti-natalism. I have only read The Trouble with Being Born and A Short History of Decay. I look forward to reading On the Heights of Despair. The Philosophy of Redemption by Philip Mainlander, where he argues that existence itself is the death of the divine, and every being and every organism is another step towards the annihilation of being itself. I don't really have to recommend a book by Schopenhauer. I mean, all of his work is extremely pessimistic. He was a 19th century German. I don't have to say anymore. And if you're interested in a very short pessimistic essay, I recommend The Last Messiah by Peter Zepfa, where he argues that the problem for humans is consciousness itself.
So this one might sting a little bit. Chances are you probably don't want change. You want comfort.
This is the first time I've ever seen a bicycle with rear wheel steering.
Big names like Neil deGrasse Tyson say philosophy is useless, but Bertrand Russell flipped that on its head. He said that every time philosophy becomes useful, we just rename it. Physics started out as natural philosophy. Psychology, philosophy of mind. And me, I think of math as the philosophy of abstract structures, numbers, logic, patterns. So when you do science or math, you're not escaping philosophy. You're standing on it.
Smart people are easier to manipulate than average people. Most of them hate hearing that because the reason is high intelligence looks for logic. Manipulation targets emotion long before logic can even turn on. And while smart people analyze content, professionals and influence your state. And once you notice that, you start seeing why intelligence alone doesn't protect you. If you want psychological defense skills, not just information, make sure you subscribe. This channel trains your awareness.
I mean, first of all, the smartest people in the room know that they aren't even that smart. Secondly, the best thing you can do in this lifetime is take in all kinds of information just so you can understand the angle and position of everybody that you come in contact with, you know what I mean? But you'll never just be the smartest person to understand everything. It's just not realistic.
If you want psychological defense skills, not just information, make sure you subscribe. This channel trains your awareness.
Does it hurt when you bite your tongue accidentally, but not when you do it on purpose? You're trying to bite your tongue now, aren't you? When you chow down on your tongue on purpose, your brain acts as a safeguard to stop you hurting yourself. It's like a natural reflex of the body, the same way you can't tickle yourself. So when you start to consciously register pain, the voluntary muscles involved with biting reflexively stop. If you accidentally bite your tongue, the damage is swift and severe. The safeguards are no longer in place, so you can't monitor the force of the bite. The result is tissue damage, which stimulates nerve endings, producing the perception of pain.
This robot, which weighs only 1/3 of a gram, heats up to form itself from a flat plastic sheet and then dissolves back into liquid. It can be controlled remotely thanks to a tiny embedded magnet, which makes it possible to perform tasks like swimming, carrying objects, clearing obstacles, and navigating confined spaces.
Your mental nerve is nowhere near your brain, and I would like to file a complaint. This is Insomniac Anatomy Academy. I can't sleep, so I study anatomy, episode 374. So yes, you have a mental nerve, and it's part of your trigeminal nerve. The trigeminal nerve controls and receives input from your face. And the mental nerve, you might think, well, surely it's like the upper face, near the forehead, where you do your thinking. Mental nerve. No, it's in the lower jaw, chin, and your lower lip. The mental nerve is your lower lip. Who picked this? I want them fired.
Now, how random is that? I bet nobody guessed that, but that makes all the sense in the world when somebody gets sucker punched, like right about here, and they just fall out. Like kind of like Jake Paul, right? But more right here. That makes sense.
Next 30 seconds, I'm gonna logically prove to you how you can eliminate the role of luck in your life. So this is a Galton board, and no matter how many times you turn it upside down, it'll always end up with most beads around the middle and less around the sides. And in stats, we call this the central limit theorem, which basically means that even though each individual bead might have an unpredictable outcome, your average will always converge towards this middle point. And the same is true for life, where if you stay consistent with the same thing over the long run, with enough reps, your output will eventually just reflect the quality of your input. So if you just started something, don't get too emotional over not getting the results you want, because sometimes you just need to get as many beats out there as you can. And if you have been putting in the reps but not getting the results you want, that statistically means that you probably just need to change something up.
Hey, now he makes a great point. And if you didn't clearly understand what he was talking about, the more reps you do in whatever area in your life you choose, the better you get, the better your odds get. You know, let's just put this in the span of YouTube, right? You want to start the channel up. Of course, your first couple of videos are going to suck, but the more you stay focused and lock in, you're going to turn into Mr. Beast.
Big news coming out of Google. For years, Gmail users have been stuck with the email address that they picked as a kid, even if it's now outdated or embarrassing. But that's starting to change. Google is quietly rolling out a new feature that lets users update their primary @gmail.com address without losing any data or having to create a new account. The old email becomes an alias, so emails sent to either address will still land in your inbox, and you can sign into Google services with both. It's a long requested quality of life improvement that's gradually being made available to users right now, so be on the lookout for this exciting enhancement.
According to TechSpot, artificial intelligence can now see what's on your computer screen by reading nearby HDMI electromagnetic radiation. And researchers are saying this technique is already being used in the wild. To simplify, it's not AI is scanning your HDMI cable when it's plugged into something. It's if somebody puts, say, a spy device, and I'm using a calculator for that, nearby the HDMI, it can actually scan the leaking radiation from the ports and the connectors and see what is on your screen. It's actually pretty similar to how people used to pick up TV and radio signals back in the day, and this came from Uruguay's University of the Republic and says that their AI-powered cable tapping method is good enough that these attacks are likely already happening, which is absolutely nuts to me. They talk about this in analog era. You could intercept video signals between devices or through the airwaves, but the data that goes through HDMI cables is much more complex. However, these ports still leak some degree of radiation, so what the scientists decided to do is get something that can...
Exactly how stupid are rich people? I present the $200 Hermes Band-Aid. Now, in fairness, this is not a Band-Aid, it's a Band-Aid accessory. It's a lambskin leather Band-Aid that you can put on your shoe, used to wrap cables, or put it around a screwdriver in what I can only assume is a hilarious prank on one of your domestic staff. I think his name is Miguel. These are $200, and they are sold out.
See that bowl? Do you see that bowl right there? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Wow, dude. This is just absolutely wild.
Okay, so now on the left-hand side is Osiris.
No, tell me that doesn't look like a reptilian.
So look at...
Oh, dude, that's an Anunnaki.
Yeah. Right. So
that's Anunnaki.
That's Enlil and Enki, the Anunnaki, and that's Osiris, and Isis is behind him. Those wings are the wings of Isis, and Osiris are fighting the Anunnaki.
Absolutely it is. Yeah, the Anunnaki on either side.
Yes.
It's called the Triumph of Religion. This is in the Boston Public Library. Library.
You get the wing disc right there.
Yeah, the wing disc. And that is, dude, do you see that bowl? Do you see that bowl right there?
Oh, yeah.
Look. Green potatoes could kill a man. Yeah, so the green part has a neurotoxin in it, starts with an S, whatever. And people have gotten sick and died because they ate the green part. That's where the poison is. It's a neurotoxin. It's an acetylcholine inhibitor. Acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter that uses your muscles, so your lung...
Note to self, stay away from green potatoes. All right.
Most creative people in the world have a pattern to how they dress. Creative people usually have a go-to uniform because it helps you focus on your art rather than how you look. But that doesn't mean you can't dress. It just means you have different priorities. Clothing for creativity is made to be simple so that it blends into your daily routine. That's why the best creatives always wear like blue jeans, gray hoodies, or a black t-shirt. You can't go wrong with these options. And when you spend your time creating, being comfortable is a priority, especially if you want to be productive.
Why don't rich countries invade poor countries all the time? Is because they don't want their boys coming home in a box. That's the main political pressure against doing it. If you have an army of drones or humanoid robots, then rich countries can invade poor countries, and the poor countries' people may die, but the rich countries' people won't die. It removes one of the main reasons why that doesn't happen all the time.
The Sleeping Giant, one such place, is a hill near the village of Kinloch Rannoch in Perth and Kinross, Scotland. Resemblance to a reclining figure. The proof is out there. What do you believe?
To contact a loved one, if they go to a medium or something and they don't contact that person, they might already be incarnated already.
Yeah. It's like I have this relationship with my mom as my mom, but when I cross over, is she still gonna be my mom, or it's just like I know you?
No, she'll still be your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only time the roles change is when you reincarnate.
Yes.
Out of what we discussed and what you've seen, what does that tell you about the death and the transition that it is, and our potential fears towards it as a human?
People should not fear death. You continue living. That's all you do. You just come out of your shell and just keep going.
Can you tell me if the New York Jets are ever going to win a Super Bowl?
These are just people or individuals that identify as someone who believes in earth energy and spiritual magic. Really, that's really what a witch is, right? In our own divinity. In order for us to cast spells, or like Christ to manifest fish and bread out of pure nothingness, we are stuck in this finite aspect where our manifestations come further down the line. Christ was able to just manifest in real time as he's seen it.
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely.
And so really, if you want to say witch, it's just like, and that's where started, I guess, more recently than obviously 2,000 years ago, that the word witch was like familiarized with anything that's not the cross, which in all actuality, the Christians actually just broke off the Egyptian ankh, which is the womb on top of the cross, which is signifying the feminine and masculine energy.
The balanced man, yes.
It goes deep, bro.
Yes, it does.
Both my wife and I have been given certain keywords and signs and tokens by the Druids to let people know in the church where we were at and, what we knew and all that. We got an audience with one of the 12 apostles of the Mormon church. Now, this is a big deal because, these are like at the very pinnacle of the Mormon church. They're right underneath the prophet. We sat down with this guy and shared with him some stuff, and he bore us his solemn testimony that the things we were telling him about Lucifer in the temple were true, and that Lucifer was indeed the god of the Mormon temple. So we thought we were in the right place, because here we were, we'd gotten rid of most of our occult stuff, except we had been led to believe that the leadership of the LDS church were some sort of sorcerers or witches. And so we felt it was still okay to be a white witch. And apparently we were right, because here this guy was telling us that Lucifer was the god of the Mormon temple, and he was one of the 12 apostles. And after a year, we were deemed worthy that I would receive the elders' priesthood. And I became an elder, and my wife and I went out to the Salt Lake Temple because, we wanted to be married for time and all eternity. And this Druid fellow years earlier had told us that we would achieve one of the most ultimate occultic initiations inside of that Mormon temple. And so we went to that temple, and we were married for time and all eternity. And bizarre ceremonies.
As odd as that was, I definitely like to see people that are ready to be together for eternity. But to have to go through all that, a little bit strange. I don't know.
You are the master of your reality, if you can understand that. You live in a fantasy, if you can understand that.
Hey, I understand it. I understand it. I get it completely.
Listen to your dreams. CIA.gov. Welcome to the ADHD zone. It's always different here. Seems like you can find anything here. Approved for release August 10th, 2000. Listen to your dreams. Your dreams can be significant. Some people fear their own psychic ability. This fear has to leave because it is negative. If they allow the positive and the Word of God and Jesus to come into their soul and mind, psychic ability will come through with them.
Energy world is real. Energy is real. What you think about it's not real, but energy itself is real. And everything is energy. And all human beings transmit energy. And because they transmit energy, if you're sensitive enough, you can read it all, which tells you all about that person. And it's honest, because people don't know how to lie with their energy unless they're awake.
Energy and body language. That's really all you need to know. When you know how to read both of those things, you're unstoppable.
What would you say is the biggest misconception about tarot cards?
I'll never be able to tell you if you're going to have kids. I'm never going to be able to tell you if a tall, handsome somebody's going to be waiting for you on a beach. That's not what the cards are for. The cards are really a way to help you ascertain what it is within yourself that you need to work on and or what you need to do to improve or what you need to look out for.
You got to admit, though, there are people that will advertise themselves. This money is coming to you.
And I will never say that there aren't people who can't do those things.
Right, okay.
I'm just not someone who will or will ever advocate for that. Because I believe that if I put you on a path and you go left instead of right, as I have said to do, then you're not going to get the results that you would have gotten. I have to make sure that there's room for human error in every reading.
99.9% of people just want to know what are the lottery numbers. They want to know things that are going to benefit them, So if you can't answer that, you're useless.
Amish kids don't get ADHD. The phenomenon does not exist.
Fascinating.
Right? Go and talk to them. Why is that? They would say, well, we have some kids who don't like to sit still. They're the ones who help us hunt and fish and run around. We love those kids, right? We are the first human society ever to try to get children to sit still for 8 hours a day. No one's ever tried to do that before because it's such a fucking dumb idea, right? Amazingly, and there's lots of research on this, it doesn't even improve their test scores.
In many cases, in many cities, schools are essentially maximizing the number of young people who are on medication for ADD, that it makes for a more efficient school day. It makes for class management. I mean, look, I taught 6th grade Hebrew school when I was in college, and most of my job was behavior management. And I enjoyed it very much. I mean, I enjoyed being a teacher. I enjoyed the material, and it was at a very lovely synagogue. But I could tell what was going on in the homes of the kids who had the most trouble focusing. Many came from very, very wealthy families. They weren't getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of this new age pharmaceutical, there's a pill for everything type of deal. It never really, locked in and made sense. I think really what it comes down to, parents would definitely need more time to spend on their kids. I think that's what it comes down to. When you have more time to lock in and really see what's going on, shoving pills in people's face, I'm not too sure that's the answer.
Put you in a ring with an opponent who never tires, who never ages, who does not have to stop to eat or drink. How long do you last?
Seconds.
Seconds. If you never step into the ring with your angel, with the saints, in a life of grace, then you're setting yourself up to lose the battle. If you have the armor of God on, there's not much you can do to you. Yeah, he can tempt you, he can, yell at you, but just like, hey, you can't get your claw on me. I haven't given you permission. Free will is everything with them. We have to give them permission for this.
Yeah, the way he describes it, it sounds like a completely unfair fight unless you're prepared. I'm good. I'm all good on that. Well, you guys, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again and all year long, man, and watching another one with me. Make sure to smash that like button, man. It helps this video and the channel out. Smash that subscribe button if you're not already part of the iTrack fam. And as always, I will catch you on the next one.